morning. My name's Justin. Welcome to my channel. I play guitar on songs in Nashville. I've got another song today from a subscriber who wanted some feedback. And so this is going to be another one of those reaction videos where I'm not just going to go, oh, wow, so cool, but actually give some really constructive criticisms and ideas. This guy is in Sweden, and he played in bands early on in his life and then got a day job, has a family. And when the pandemic hit, he got back into writing music. And so he has written a few songs and put some things down. He has an idea to potentially do a rock opera, which I think is really cool. I've never been into that sort of thing, so I would be interested in checking that out. I've got an email from him, so let's see how this came about. Let's see what he said. He reached out after the last reaction video of the band with the rehearsal tape. Once again, I just want to thank everybody who contributed to the comment section. It was so encouraging and so uplifting and helpful to that band. The overwhelming majority of comments were really positive, while also offering advice and saying like, hey, have you thought about doing this? That's really cool, you know? That's really cool that you guys turned that entire comment section into something that was really constructive. So thank you from me, and let's do another one, all right? So this guy's name is John. He writes to me and he says, hey Justin, I've enjoyed your channel for some time and appreciate your taste, sound, and the general vibe in your posts. In short, you feel really genuine to me, which seems more and more scarce these days. I have this dream scenario where I would like to be produced and track my songs with real pros from Nashville. Although my brand of songs isn't exactly Nashville material, from a distance, Nashville seems to be one of the last bastions of real kick-ass musicians catering to the song. This dream of recording in Nashville feels a bit elusive, though, as I'm from Sweden living in Stockholm. Also, I'm very much an independent artist with everything that comes along with that. I take that to mean budget constraints, right? He doesn't have a label backing him. So he says, where to start? How would you suggest me going about realizing such a dream? What's a realistic budget? If you find time to send me some pointers, I would be grateful. And so I responded, and this wasn't about doing a video at first. It was about him potentially having some tracks produced. And so I gave him a budget and just was asking him, like, so what's the situation? Do you have a band? Do you play everything yourself? How are you making music, you know? And he sent me a song and he said the tracks are all me except the drums, courtesy of GarageBand. So we got fake drums. That means this is a demo, right? This isn't like something he's putting out yet. He wants to go in and record it. So this is sort of what I'm understanding, that this is going to be something that's got all his ideas down. And he's got a general form to the song. He's got his lyrics, got all his parts. He said he played everything, so except the drums. So the drums might sound really fake. It might just be a loop, you know, and that's okay. We're going to still listen through it. I'm going to write a chart, and this is going to be the same format as the last video. He did say that the guitars and the bass tracks he played through his pedal board into a Pro Reverb, Fender Pro Reverb, and then through a Torpedo Captor X into a Universal Audio Volt interface into GarageBand. So he says he's a bit crippled by the currency exchange rate at the moment. With normal exchange rates for $1, my estimate seems really reasonable, and hopefully the rates will get better soon and he can consider my offer. I had also mentioned, like, you know, if you want to kind of start the ball rolling with this, we could do a video and I could give you a bunch of production tips, you know, the same thing that I gave the last band. And I charge a small fee for that, and that would count toward the production fee if he were to have his songs produced in Nashville. Whether that involves him flying out, or, you know, sometimes we do this over Zoom or over audio movers and with people remotely. And there's just a lot of ways to make someone's record, whether they're in the room or not, you know. So I'm going to listen through, I'm going to make a chart, I'm going to give the same kinds of ideas and thoughts that I would give if I were producing this song with a band in a studio and we were on the session, okay? So same format as the last one. I have a SoundCloud link with the song, and I'm going to play my 335 here. This is my old 82 335. I love this guitar. It has, for the most part, scratched the itch enough that I don't feel like I need an old 60s or late 50s 335, especially at the prices. But every once in a while I still think, man, it'd be so cool to have one. But for 60 grand, oh, just crazy, right? So I am plugged into my Analog Outfitters Sarge. I'm gonna turn every pedal off and just play the guitar clean. Great sounding guitar. I love this guitar. I'm also gonna mute my speakers and put my studio cans on just so the track and my playing doesn't come through my mic. Maybe we can separate it and make things sound a little better for y'all. So, I might raise my chair up a little bit, give myself some room to write my chart, and away we go. I love it. There's a gong. This is cool.
Omega is one of my names. Spirit cast from the heavens above.
I love that Leslie guitar in the left channel.
With the whore of Babylon. The mother of harlots and the nation of the earth. He comes in different shapes.
Feels like a chorus there. That feels like another verse. Okay, I'm going to stop there because I already have some thoughts. So far, we're just on the one chord, and it sounds like he's in like A or A flat. I also need more gain to play along with this song. I'm going to turn my amp up, treble up, bass down. It's something like that. So my first thought is that I noticed that riff so far has played through the entire song. We have an 8-bar intro, an 8-bar verse, an 8-bar chorus. So we've had 24 bars so far, and that riff is playing the entire time. And there's two guitars happening. There's one behind it that's like going. And then the intro riff. Let's go back to the intro riff. Okay, I'm at a minute 23. I'll remember. I'll go back to that spot to pick up my chart. I love the gong. It's super cool. I mean, this feels like I'm in my dad's garage, you know, when I was a kid. My dad listened to only classic rock. In Topeka, Kansas, when I was a kid, there was a station called V100. I'm pretty sure it's probably still there. I don't know. But when I was a kid, the format was only classic rock. It was very narrow. It was like 60s and 70s guitar rock. They played Boston, Foghat, Steppenwolf, REO Speedwagon, Zeppelin, AC/DC, Hendrix, Pink Floyd. They would get as new as like Appetite for Destruction, Guns N' Roses, like 1985 or something like that. But for the most part, it was 70s and late 60s. And it was super cool. And my dad had this old solid state Marantz stereo in his garage. And I need to ask him sometime. I keep forgetting to ask him. He never turned it off. He would just turn the volume down when he was done tinkering on his cars. He was a huge gearhead. And I've turned into kind of a gearhead too. I'm into cars. I like working on them and maintaining them and modifying them. Expensive hobbies, right? But, you know, I remember being a kid listening to that Marantz system cranked while my dad was yelling from underneath his Camaro, you know, which wrench for me to find in his toolbox. And he'd get pretty impatient. And, you know, I know he was never mad at me. He was frustrated by something he was trying to work on, but I was always nervous that I was going to hand him the wrong wrench, you know. This song so far takes me back to that. It's a little bit of a darker vibe, like the lyric and the way the lyrics sung is real low and kind of dark, you know, but the guitars and the drums and the bass playing remind me of total classic rock, you know, and I think it's super cool. So my first thought, going back to the idea that this riff has never stopped. Pro tip number one, if you want to give some sort of part or melodic information more weight in a song, often it helps to remove it from certain spots so that it counts more in the spots you leave it in. So here, I would take the riff out of the verse completely. It doesn't need to be there. You know, you've set the stage for the song with the intro, with that riff, and you should tuck it back, right? It's also kind of forward in the mix, but you should tuck it back because the verse is going to set the stage for the lyric, and our focal point needs to shift to what the singer's saying. And that's kind of hard with this melody that's happening the entire time. And if that's not enough, it continues into the chorus as well. And there's a bit of a lift. When you increase dynamic in a song, you have what's called a lift. We need a lift into the chorus. We need a lift into the bridge. We need a sort of a settling from, if the intro's up and we're all in, then maybe we tighten up for the verse so we can lift more into the chorus, right? We pull things down so what's up sticks up more. And I would, you know, after the intro, verse. And maybe you just catch the tail end of that 4-bar phrase that is the guitar lick, right? Maybe it's just a bit of it peeks out in the verse when the singer's not singing. That's a thing, you know? And then I do like that there's that extra tremolo or Leslie, that real fast guitar in the left channel that comes in the verse. And then that gets more intense in the chorus. And it sounds like the drummer, who again is not a human being. Well, it's probably John programming GarageBand drums. But the only change from the drums is that we go to like a crash or hitting the ride like a crash. So there's a bit of a lift, but overall the song kind of sits here so far. So I would take the intro hook, the lick, out of the verse. I'd take it out of the chorus. And my second thought, so far, we're sitting on the one chord the entire time. And I think the parts are all really cool. It could just really help to give the song shape if we go somewhere harmonically. And by harmonically, I mean the bed of chords on which our melody stands, you know, and is soaring over or whatever. So before I get back to the chart, I want to find the chorus, and I have an idea for a couple chord changes. So let's listen to our chorus again.
From the heavens above. See, I had to meet with the
This is still verse 1 right here.
The mother of harlots and the nation of the earth.
Hear that big cymbal crash? This is chorus. See, I want to hear, in the chorus, I want to hear something like this. Something, you know, like just change the chords. Do something harmonically that can itself be a lift, right? Like we are separating sections of the song. We need to do that, right? You've got all these sections that are 8 bars, and so far they've all stayed on the one chord, and they have the intro riff the entire time. So leave the intro riff in the intro, pull it out in the verse, tighten everything up, mute. Maybe you catch the tail end. Maybe catch the very end of the riff. I know I'm not playing it exactly, but and then in the chorus, open back up. I mean, it doesn't have to be G to D. It could be C to D with a beat 4 G chord. I don't know. This is the kind of thing that we would flesh out on the floor with the band to where everybody's excited, right? We don't, like we're in Nashville, we are hyper focused on how we think the listener is going to perceive the track we're recording. And I can tell you right now, everybody, every session player, all my friends would be saying the same thing. We need some variation. We need some dynamic. It's cool to have the intro up, tighten up for the verse, come back down to mutes, drums get tighter, and then explode on the chorus, right? And maybe some new chords too. That's always helpful. I think that there are songs that stay on one chord the entire time, but that's a very tricky thing, and you have to be extremely intentional with dynamics and with, you have to get clever with how you create lifts and melodic interest when you never change chords. And so far this, you know, again, the riff's the entire time, and the sections are all kind of big, you know, so far. So I want to get back to verse 2. I'm going to pull this forward a little bit. I think this will be the tail end of the chorus, and I'm going to continue the chart. Verse 2 right here. These lyrics are pretty dark. New chorus. This is chorus 2. I like the guitar layers. Those extra guitars that come in are super cool. All right, what's next?
Liftoff of mission 41B, the first flight of the orbiter Discovery, and the shuttle has cleared the tower. I will be in orbit.
The flanger guitar is really cool.
Now have primary control of critical vehicle function.
Back to our chorus.
He will seduce you with his grace. Lay down a line so sweet. Says he's happy to meet you
This is a fourth chorus. Another chorus. Oh, it's a fade. All right. Okay, cool. So here is my chart. I don't know if you can see that very well. It's all ones except the bridge. The bridge feels like a mod. It goes to a 2. It's 2 to 5 back and forth, or you could call it a one-step mod, 1 to 4 in the new key, and then it drops back down to the old key. I think it's quicker and easier in a number chart just to call it 2 to 5. And that section was really cool. There was like this flanger, kind of funky rock flanger guitar. There was some other tremolo things happening that were really cool. I think the way this guy uses tremolo is awesome. There's some really cool things going on in the guitar playing. And it's nice that we've got a departure, finally. But it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections into the song. It's the 6th section of the song. So we've had 40 bars of the one chord. Bar 41 is our first chord change. That's a, you know, if I'm making a record in Nashville, if we're cutting this, everybody's going to say, hey, let's get some harmonic interest before bar 41, right? I like that there's like this CB radio thing happening in the bridge, and you know, it's kind of almost a guitar solo. It gets a little more instrumental. It's a good break. And then we have 3 choruses in a row that all go back to just the one chord. And I tried playing along with it. I mean, I just think that should be the shape of the chorus, you know, whether it's 1 flat 7 4 or 1 flat 3 4, something needs to happen. And I wouldn't do 3 choruses in a row with a fade on the last chorus. First of all, to go back to the front half of the song, if we take our riff out of the verses and choruses, you'll never hear it again. It was in the intro, and then it's also in verse 1, chorus 1, verse 2, chorus 2. It's out of the bridge because we changed chords, and then it's in chorus 3, 4, and 5 all in a row. What I would do is keep it in the intro, tighten up to mutes in the verse, and maybe catch that last part of the line, and then explode with the rhythm guitars and the tremolo stuff and all the cool textures that you have in the chorus. But then come back and put a little turnaround. Maybe it's one time through the intro riff, which would be 4 bars, or maybe it's just the front half of it, and then we tighten up into verse 2, you know? You want to keep interest, so quicker turnarounds are generally preferred. But then, in verse 2, the riff is gone. You're back to your verse pattern. Chorus 2 is big again. The bridge is a departure, and I just think what happened was really cool. It doesn't necessarily have to be a solo. It could be, but all the parts, the flanger, rock guitar, that stuff's really cool in the bridge. And then chorus 3 can be a normal chorus, but maybe there's some gear shift that's left. And that's the way that all the players in Nashville are going to be thinking. Whatever drummer, like one of 5 guys that I would hire to play on this song, they would have in their back pocket some extra gear shift for that third chorus, right? We've heard the chorus twice already. How do we make this one slightly more exciting, a little newer, right? A little fresher. And then you don't need chorus 4 or 5. I'm sorry. chorus 4 instead could be an 8-bar outro, where you just tag maybe the "he comes in different shapes" lyric. And you're not singing a full chorus, but there's vocal tags that happen periodically. And then between that, maybe that funky flanger guitar from your bridge, or if you turn the bridge into a guitar solo, maybe that guitar comes back and plays around those vocal phrases. That's your outro. And maybe you hit a big diamond and you actually end the song. Or maybe that goes for 8 bars and then you do a 4-bar fade, you know. But 3 choruses, you've got 5 choruses, and they all have the riff going through them. And so the song just kind of sits here, it goes somewhere for the bridge, and then it goes back to where it was and sits there. And I hear that you added some little layers of interest for the chorus, some extra guitar parts, some crash on the drums, more cymbals and stuff like that. I get that, but we need chord changes. We need the lick to not be everywhere. We need fewer than 5 choruses. And I would put a short turnaround after chorus 1. That would be my first suggestion. And if we were in a studio doing this in Nashville, we would play through it, and there'd be other ideas from other players, and we would chase those down, see what makes the most sense, you know. I think everybody in town, most of the guys I work with, would be excited, would be happy to play on this song, you know. We're not quite the same age. You know, there's some people from generations before that are playing, like total heroes of mine that I get to work with, you know. It's crazy. A lot of the guys doing the majority of the recording, I would say, are in the early to mid 30s to mid to late 40s range. And when we were kids, I think that entire range, our dads were listening to classic rock, and that's what this reminds me of. So I think everybody'd be happy to play on it, you know? All those suggestions, all those tips, that is exactly what I would say if I were producing this for you on a session in Nashville. And, you know, I don't think I have much else. It's just giving the song a better shape, right? Giving yourself dynamics, knowing when to lift into the next section, deleting some melodic information from certain sections so that it has more impact in the sections you leave it in. I'm talking about the main guitar parts. But overall, it's super cool. Your guitar playing's great. The tones are really cool. I like the use of effects. That's really creative. It's not the same old thing. It's not like, I'm going to put a dotted eighth delay, you know. Not that this song would really warrant that, but the tremolo and some of the reverbs and stuff was all super cool. And I can't quite tell if that's a straight up tremolo or if there's like a Leslie thing happening. Not sure. But overall, that's super cool. And, you know, if you get the budget together, it'd be really awesome to produce three songs for you. To everybody else, to all my subscribers and everyone who is watching, if you're seeing this, it means that John is cool with everything that I said and is happy to put this out there and get more feedback. So if you leave some feedback, I would just ask that it's constructive again. I only had to delete like 1 or 2 comments that were just mean on the last video, and I don't care for that at all. Even if you think you're being honest and there's something virtuous about you being just directly honest, if you're tearing someone down, that's just not useful, really. That's not helpful at all. So there's a way to be honest and to be constructive. And so that's what I ask for in this video again. If you leave a comment, be constructive, you know, be helpful. You guys really turned that last comment section in the last reaction video into something that was really special for that band. So I'm looking forward to this, and I will see you guys later. Have a great day.